Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I
Morning.
think in the good morning. Good morning. So I think in the last class we have completed indifference curve analysis entirely, isn't it? Or anything was left? Just check your WhatsApp group. Have I shared that presentation with you?
Ma'am, after elasticity of price, there is no presentation.
Okay. I'm sharing it right now because if I don't, then again I will forget. Just a second. Okay, that's done. So as we are already done with this inference curve analysis, so we can start with a new chapter. Okay. However, the chapter that we are covering up today is part of your unit 4. Okay. So we will complete that just because it is very much there in your mid-semester examination. So we need to cover that. Okay. So this chapter is dealing with your national income analysis. Okay. Is the screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Perfect. So इस entire chapter में बहुत ही critical concepts हैं. Okay. So you need to understand them in detail. Okay, unless and until you don't understand them, it will be very difficult for you to carry it forward. Okay, because you have to solve a number of numericals, okay, from this portion. Along with that, a number of questions related to the difference between the terms, okay, will also be asked in exam. So that's why you need to be pretty much clear about the basic concept that will be coming across under this chapter. However, we will not be going to details. The basic things only we will be covering up, just because you need to just know and learn the basic things like your GDP, national income, per capita income, depreciation. What are these things? Okay. So for that, let us come to this chapter, that is national income analysis. Okay. So before starting this chapter, I want to know, what do you understand by national income? When I talk about the national income of India is this much, what do you understand by that? Tell me. Any rough idea will be okay.
Maybe per capita income of a person.
Per capita income of a person will be national income, Swati.
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone
And the
else?
income and the income that they get from the taxes and all.
The income that we gain from the taxes. Okay. Anyone else? Good, Devashish. Anyone else? Okay, so when I talk about this national income, basically, this national income is the sum of the monetary values that are obtained by the individuals as a result of contributing to the production process. Okay, that is, it is the sum of the income earned by all the nationals of a country amid this production procedure. Okay, so as we have already discussed in the previous class, there are four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial ability. So if these are the four factors, then for every factors of production there will be a reward for it. So for land it is rent, for labor it is wages, for capital it is interest, and for entrepreneur ability it is profit. So the sum of all these rewards is nothing but the income earned by all the nationals of a country. Okay, so when you sum this all up, at the end what we will get is the national income of a country. Is it understood? What do you understand by national income? समझ आया? Look, if you have a land, okay, what you will get? You give it to someone to, let us say, cultivate. What you get out of it? A rent. Okay. You are working in some company. What you will get? the wages. If you have taken this machinery under lease, then what you will get? Interest. And if you are into this business kind activities, then you will get profit out of it. Okay, so basically all the individuals who are getting money in terms of rent, wages, interest, or profit, if we sum these four things of all the individuals of a nation, then that total sum will be known as national income. अब समझ आया? Yes or no?
मैम तो
Yes,
फैक्टर ऑफ
ma'am.
प्रोडक्शन है
Yes,
मैम,
ma'am.
उनके इन चार के अलावा भी कोई फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन होता है?
No. These are the four basic things. Okay, whatever remaining things will be somehow getting adjusted under these four things, but these are the four major things.
ओके मैम.
Okay, so acha, now my question will be, let us say any person who is staying in abroad. Okay, whatever earning he is getting, can that be calculated under national income? For example, suppose I am an Indian and I'm working at UK. So whatever income I am generating, whether that would be considered under national income or not?
Then that would affect the national income, but not solely.
I didn't understand, Swati, what you said.
And what I said was that would affect the national income, but not solely. मतलब सिर्फ वो affect नहीं करेगा national income.
Okay, but वो national income में consider होगा भी या नहीं?
मैम add तो होना चाहिए.
अच्छा, क्यों होना चाहिए वो भी बताओ.
मैम क्योंकि आपने जैसे कहा कि सारे population के income को add करना है, तो if you are under the population, then it should be added.
So when I talk about all the individuals, that means all the nationals. Okay, so irrespective of whether you are staying inside the domestic territory or you are staying outside the domestic territory. Okay, so here it will be taken into consideration. Okay, so coming to the next one, that is your per capita income. What is the per capita income? Per capita income is basically total income of all the individuals, okay, divided by total number of individuals. Okay, so let us say, for example, today in our class the strength is 62. So in the numerator, we will have the income earned by all the 62 people divided by 62 people in the room. So that will be your per capita income. Is it understood? The difference between your national income and per capita income?
Explain again that per capita income.
Yes, Debashish?
Explain again that per capita income.
Yes. Okay, so coming to the next one, that is your national income, as I have already told. So under this national income, we will deal with all this concept. For example, your gross domestic product, gross national product, net domestic product, net national product, per capita income. However, this per capita income, we have just covered it here. Okay, so the remaining things we will come in the next slide, but before that we need to discuss three major points from which we can relate these concepts. Okay, coming to the first one, that is depreciation. What do you understand by depreciation? Depreciation means decline in the value of a fixed asset due to its use or passage of time or obsolescence. For example, let us say you have purchased a bike of 2 lakhs. Okay, then what happens after 1 year, sorry, after 5 years, now the price of the bike is 80,000. Okay, so it has deteriorated its amount by 1,20,000. Okay, so that deteriorated amount is known as your depreciable amount. Okay, that is the amount which has reduced due to its usage, continuous usage, or passage of time or obsolescence. Is it understood what is depreciation?
Then how is it related to inflation?
How is it related to?
Inflation.
Yes, of course it is related. If here we will take into consideration that let us say This value is getting, for example, your bike. Okay, when we say that with the passage of time, the price of the bike is getting reduced. Okay, but what do you understand by inflation? Inflation means gradually with the passage of time, okay, the prices of every commodity will constantly increase. Okay, but you just can't relate this depreciation with inflation. Why? Because when we talk about depreciation, it is the constant decline in the value of the fixed asset. Okay, maybe due to the passage of time or because of its continuous use. Okay, so we just can't relate this very particular term to inflation. Is it understood, Swati?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can anyone tell me any exception of this depreciation?
Property, land.
Very good. Anyone else? So it can be real estate, that is with the passage of time the value is increasing instead of decreasing. Anyone else?
Gold.
Very good, Snake. That's gold. Okay. So, however, when we talk about depreciation, okay, let's come to the two major concept, that is gross and net. So, what is gross? So, when I talk about gross, it means I'm describing the total amount of something. And what is net? Net means I'm describing the amount that's left after all the necessary deductions that we have made. Okay, for example, as I have told, the bike that you have purchased at a price is 2 lakhs, that is the gross value. Okay, and after 5 years it is 80,000, that is the net value. So what is depreciation? This depreciation is 1,20,000. It is the value reduction in the value due to the passage of time, use, or obsolescence. Okay, so just note down this formula. Note it down, everyone, because we will be using it to solve more number of numericals. Is it understood? What is your gross, what is depreciation, and what is net? Clear to everyone? Hey, yes or no, so that I can proceed now? Okay. So coming to the next one, that is your net factor income from abroad. This is a very interesting concept. Some will find it to be a very clumsy one, but once you understood it, it will be very easier. So what does it say? It says that net factor income is the difference between the factor income, such as your wages, rent, interest, and profit received from abroad by the normal residents of India for rendering services in another country, minus such factors income received by the non-residents for rendering services in domestic territory during a given period. Okay, that is okay. So if I, instead of the C, look, if it is NFIN, that is your net factor income from abroad. If I will say what is the net factor income of India, let us say. So it comprises of factor income from abroad. That means the Indians who are working abroad, okay, and rendering income from abroad. दैट इज फैक्टर इनकम फ्रॉम अब्रॉड. जो इंडियंस बाहर काम कर रहे हैं उनका पैसा हम कंसिडर करेंगे अंडर फैक्टर इनकम फ्रॉम अब्रॉड. एंड व्हाट इज फैक्टर इनकम टू अब्रॉड? मीन्स जो फॉरेनर्स इंडिया में काम कर रहे हैं, ओके, और जो लोग अपना इनकम उनके देश भेज रहे हैं, दैट इज फैक्टर इनकम टू अब्रॉड. Is it understood the difference? The factor income from abroad and factor income to abroad.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood or still you're not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is your net factor income from abroad. Okay, so this net factor income of abroad is basically the difference between national income as well as your domestic income. Okay, so note down this formula. If anyone is not clear, ask me repeatedly, guys. I'm telling you right from the beginning, because we will be solving numericals from here. So if you are not clear, it will be a difficult problem.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, can it be the case that factor income to abroad is greater than factor income from abroad?
sometimes it can be. Why can't it be? In that case, your NFIA will be negative.
Negative. Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
note it down, everyone, the two formulas, then only we'll proceed to the next one. Anywhere you have any confusion, any doubt, even if a silly thing is striking your mind, if you still are confused, you can simply ask me then and there. Do not think that it will be a very silly thing to be asked in the classroom. It's not like that, because as we are dealing with very practical oriented things, a lot many things will come into your mind. Okay, so by discussing only, you will clarify those things. Okay, these terms, they will be pretty much used in the business world. Okay, so if you have any doubt, ask me then and there. National income में क्या जाएगा, domestic income में क्या जाएगा. Okay, so what is the difference between the national income and domestic income? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, national income include both the domestic income, that is the income earned by the countrymen, as well as the income earned by the countrymen who live abroad.
And domestic income.
It involves only the income from the people who are currently working in that country.
Very good. Remember one thing, guys, when I talk about national income, I am simply focusing on nationals, irrespective of whether they're staying inside India or outside India. But when I'm talking about domestic income, I'm dealing with this domestic territory. I'm limited to domestic territory. Those who are working inside domestic territory will be considered under domestic income. Okay, but one thing, guys, you are missing under domestic income. What is that? Acha, can you tell me one thing? If there are certain MNCs, okay, or leave it MNCs, suppose the foreign companies whose branch is here, let us say Apple, okay, its branch is in Hyderabad. Okay, so the income generated, okay, will that be considered under domestic income? Think for a while and tell me. It will be included under domestic income. Okay, so it will be very much included under domestic income, because when we talk about domestic income, we talk about this domestic territory. Okay, so if it is inside your domestic territory, that means it will be included under your domestic income. Okay, coming to the next one, that is your factor cost and market price. What is your factor cost? Factor cost, basically it means the amount which is used to manufacture any commodity. Okay, for example, you have produced a pen at 10 rupees. The 10 rupees is your factor cost. But if you're bringing that pen to the market and selling it at 20 rupees, that 20 rupees is your market price. That is the final amount at which you're selling the commodity in the market. Okay, so that is the difference between the factor cost and your market price. However, between this factor cost and market price, there is a narrow difference, that is NIT, net indirect tax, we call it. Okay, And this net indirect tax is basically the difference between indirect tax and subsidies. Okay, so as we have started talking about this tax, so you must be knowing that there are two types of tax. One is direct tax, another one is indirect tax. Okay, so can you tell me what do you mean by this direct tax and indirect tax?
Direct tax means that is given by a particular person for his income.
Very good. And
But
what about indirect tax?
now indirect tax means for a commodity we indirectly pay taxes. Means something we buy from the market, for that also we are giving taxes.
Very good. So, if we are talking about direct tax, that means it refers to the tax that is imposed by per, imposed on the person directly, okay, on his income. But when we come to indirect tax, the tax is not imposed on the person directly and it can be skipped. For example, for every single thing you are purchasing the commodity, okay, if you're purchasing a Maggie or a pen or your pencil or your watch, anything you're paying a tax. That is your indirect tax. You are not directly paying to the government, you are indirectly paying it to the government. Okay, so that's why, however, you can get rid of this indirect tax by simply not buying the commodity. Okay, so NIT is your net indirect tax. Now what is this net indirect tax? That is indirect tax minus subsidies. Now what is subsidies? अच्छा, ये जो तुम्हारा CNG के ऊपर जो लगता है, वो जो सब्सिडी मिल रहा है, उसका मतलब क्या होता है? कौन देता है वो सब्सिडी? The subsidy is the financial assistance or the financial concession provided by the government either to encourage the consumption of a commodity or simply support the consumer to afford a commodity if it is expensive. Is it understood?
Yes.
Okay, so just note down these three formulas quickly. If you have any doubt till then, you can ask me.
Can you please repeat the definition of subsidies that you have said?
Subsidy, Chirag, is basically the financial concession or assistance provided by the government either to encourage the consumption of a commodity or simply to support the consumer uh, while buying any commodity if it doesn't fall under his affordable reason. Is it understood, Chirag?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Note it down, everyone, the formulas. Okay, so if you have noted it down, let's come down to the next one. So, however, guys, once we have come across these three formulas, you need to note these three things down. From here only, we will move down to the basic concepts. Okay, so based on this, can anyone tell me what is the difference between your GDP and GNP? Just think for a while. What is the difference? Basic difference between GDP and GNP. So we have come across these terms now like gross domestic national. So based on that, can anyone tell me what is the basic difference between your GDP and GNP? Okay, so let's come to this. What is the difference between this gross domestic product and gross national product? So, gross domestic product is basically the value of final goods and services produced in a particular country Okay, within the domestic territory, if we talk about within the domestic territory, means all the companies or all the firms, all the industries, even all the individuals who are pretty much there within the domestic territories, we will be taking their income into consideration. But when it's all about your gross national product, our focus is on the nationals. Okay, irrespective of whether they are inside the domestic territory or outside the domestic territory. Okay, we will take into consideration their particular income generated during a given year. Okay, so that's the basic difference between gross domestic and gross national product. So by GDP, our primary focus is on domesticating the concept. Okay, but when it comes to gross national product, it means we will be particularly focusing on the income generated by all the nationals, whether they are working inside the domestic territory or they're operating from overseas. Is it understood the basic difference between GDP and GNP? Is it understood? Ayushi, Swati, Chirag, Devashish? Doubts है?
No, ma'am.
आनंद
No, ma'am.
समझ आया?
No, ma'am. No doubts.
No doubts, ने clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you have any doubts, immediately ask me. Okay. Don't just sit up on your doubts. Okay, so based on all these concepts, okay, we will be solving few numericals. Okay, so instead of remembering all these formulas, simply we can derive it by using these three formulas. Okay, however, all these formulas are mentioned here, but try not to remember this. Rather, let's try to derive these formulas. Okay, that would be easier. So let's go on solving this one, but before that, okay, you need to be reciprocative about all these things. So if I'm talking about, let us say, GDP at market price, and I need to convert it into NNP at factor cost. Okay, so tell me one thing, what is the full form of GDP? Quickly tell me.
Gross
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 domestic
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 price.
product.
Very good, gross domestic product. And what is the full form of NNP? बताओ, NNP क्या होता है? Net national product. Very good, Sneh. That is net national product. Now, what we will do, one thing we have put in LHS and another thing we have put into RHS. So, we need to bring necessary changes in your LHS so that it will be similar to your RHS. Okay. So, now you tell me, initially, ये जो पहला लेटर है, इस तरफ ये gross है और इस तरफ है net. So, tell me, ये gross और net में से which one is a bigger concept? Gross or net?
Gross.
ग्रॉस. सो ग्रॉस से हम लोग क्या सब्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे तब हमें नेट मिलेगा? वो तीन फॉर्मूलाज देखो और बताओ.
Depreciation.
वेरी गुड, दैट्स डेप्रिसिएशन. एंड डोमेस्टिक एंड नेशनल, यू टेल मी दैट.
NFIA.
वेरी गुड. सो डोमेस्टिक बड़ा है या नेशनल बड़ा है?
National.
नेशनल बड़ा है. सो डोमेस्टिक के साथ हम लोग NFIA ऐड करेंगे या सब्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे?
Add.
ऐड करेंगे. वेरी गुड. सो दैट विल बी NFIA. सिमिलरली, मार्केट प्राइस एंड फैक्टर कॉस्ट, व्हिच वन इज बिगर? Market price is the final amount at which you are selling the commodity. Factor cost is the amount at which you are manufacturing the commodity. Then which one is a
Market price.
market
perfect? Very good. So market price अगर बड़ा है तो हम market price से क्या subtract करेंगे बताओ?
NIT.
Very good. That's NIP. Okay. By doing this, we can simply convert this GDP at market price to NNP at your factor cost. समझ आ गया? किसी को अगर कोई डाउट है तो पूछो. Is it understood, guys?
yes ma'am.
Okay. Based on this, solve this question. Go for it, everyone. Let me know the answer in the chat box. Take 5 minutes, but get it done. Anyone who could solve this question? And it's very simple. Why
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
taking that much time? Ayushi, mention it in the chat box quickly. Okay, so we got it. NDP at factor plus depreciation plus NIT plus a very good Ayushi. Anyone else who got the same answer? Janet, could you get the same answer? Janet, are you there in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, you got the same answer or not?
Ma'am, I'm figuring it out yet.
You have doubt. You have a doubt over here.
No, ma'am, I'm figuring it out. Like I'm doing the question.
Okay. If you have a doubt, any one of you, okay, if you have a doubt, immediately ask me. Okay, because I will forward this presentation for sure. Okay, but it will be again a hectic task for you to just go on noting it down and remembering it. Okay, better you try to figure it out, you understand it nicely, so that it will be very easy for you to derive the formula then and there whenever a question is asked. Okay, instead of remembering so many things. Is it understood? Sneh,
Yes, ma'am.
could you solve this question?
Yes, ma'am. I did a silly mistake, but then and
Then you
yeah, the
understood.
concept is
Okay, okay. So for today, this is what we have completed. That is your NI analysis. Okay, I'll be forwarding this presentation to you. You will go through this entire presentation in detail. Okay, okay. Then, if you have any kind of doubt from this very portion, you can ask me immediately. Okay, everyone is required to mention all your roll numbers in the WhatsApp group. I will take care of it. Thank you and have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.